Hello, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Alex, and this is my channel, Cycle Breakers, where I share with you messages of motivation, inspiration, spirituality, personal experiences, so that I can hopefully help anyone out there who's willing to implement what has worked for me into their life and hopefully improve their life by doing that. Anyways, today I want to share a quick video here because as we are in this spirituality topic, I want to kind of warn you about something that you will more than likely encounter right after you go through a spiritual awakening. And if you already had a spiritual awakening, you might already have fallen into the trap that I will be talking about here today and might not even realize it. And that's why this can be a little bit dangerous, because this can literally slow down your spiritual progress in many cases for years or sometimes even for entire lifetimes. So with that being said, as always, I want to make my quick disclaimer and remind you that a lot of what I talk about in these videos comes from personal experience, my own opinion, my own beliefs, and I highly encourage you to try to prove these things for yourself and see how these things can work out in your own life. So what is this trap that I am talking about? And this is the trap of the spiritual ego. So you see, before you go through a spiritual awakening experience, you hold an identity. Your ego is attached to a personality, a certain way of thinking, a certain way of looking at things. And when you go through a spiritual awakening, a lot of that ends up falling off. So you are no longer the person who you think that you were. Now you might find yourself at a place where you are confused. You don't know who you are or who you want to be. And the ego absolutely hates that. It doesn't like to be in limbo. So if you've gone from the person with all these goals and ambitions and this identity, the ego wants to hold on to another identity again. So it attaches to whatever it now considers itself to be. So what happens in many cases is that people go from the person of the world, as some people might say, into someone as spiritual, someone that has acquired this new spiritual knowledge. And what I've seen happen is that once they go through this transition and the ego finds itself in limbo, it attaches to a new identity. And typically, from what I've seen from personal experience, this new identity is the identity of the spiritual person, the person who can do nothing wrong, the person who now has all the answers, the person who is now trying to change the world and shape it to its liking. I in fact tried to do that when I first went through my own spiritual awakening. I would share things on social media, encouraging people to seek spirituality, encouraging people to change, because we need to change the world. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with doing something like that, encouraging people to do something. But where I've seen that people go a little bit too far is when they become like pastors in a church. They try to shove down other people's throats whatever they believe in now. They push people to change. They push people to meditate. They push people to go out to the river and pick up the trash because Mother Earth, and we need to protect this world. I know personally one person who has gone through a spiritual awakening experience, and through following him on social media, I have seen the things that he has started to post. And he's now talking about chakras, he's talking about semen retention, he's talking about auras and sound vibration therapy and all these things. And I get it, it's him sharing his experience. But where I think people can do a little bit too much is when they try to make people feel guilty, because these people might not want to go out there in the cold and pick up trash at a creek, maybe because people don't want to adopt the habit of meditation. And through videos, through sharing their content, in many cases, they're not just doing it to make people aware of these things. In a way, they're making these videos, they're making this content to show how much better they are than other people, because the spiritual one is doing all these activities that would benefit the planet or would benefit humanity as a whole. But you can, and this is again why I think this is dangerous, because you can lose your sense of oneness. You know, the ego attaches itself to its new identity, and now the ego wants to force other people to do the same. And if people don't comply, if people continue to live their lives, the ego tends to get mad or frustrated. And you lose, in my opinion, what spirituality is all about. Spirituality is all about oneness, is allowing people to continue to live the lives that they feel comfortable living, allowing people to make their own choices and not be forced to do something that they don't want to do. But the spiritual person sometimes believes that because now they're doing things for the good of the world, that it is okay, that people should follow everything that they are trying to teach these people who might not have gone through a spiritual experience. And rather than making people follow them or go and be curious as to what is happening, people get turned off. People might think that these spiritual people are weird and they don't want to go and be curious as to what is actually happening. In fact, with this person that I just told you about, that posts about chakras and energy healing and all these other spiritual things, even for me, that I know a little bit about what spiritual awakening is, what spirituality is. That content can sometimes still feel a little weird because, I mean, throughout most of my life, I have been raised in a culture where I was part of a family that's very religious, and I had all these beliefs and all these ideas that I grew up with. And then seeing someone go really deep into spirituality can be a little bit overwhelming. So my message to you is simply to remind you and to make you aware that sometimes the ego, even though you might feel like you've gone through spiritual awakening, can still attach to another egotistical identity and slow down your spiritual progress. Because once you feel like you know it all, once you feel like you have it all, once you feel like you need to act a certain way to maintain your newly acquired identity, at that point you're not progressing. You stay stagnated in a specific belief, in a specific identity. And again, spirituality to me means oneness, means allowing, means unity, means being able to live your life as you want, becoming the version that you feel more comfortable with, without forcing other people to do the same. If you want to change people, if you want to change the world, become the human that you want to see the world full of. And if you want people to follow you, if you want people to be curious about what you have to share to them, rather than forcing your beliefs and ideas down people's throats, rather teach them through example. Become someone that they see and they say to themselves that they want to learn from. And when they go to you and approach you and ask you how to become more like you, at that point, these people are giving you the keys to share with them everything that you know, without forcibly trying to change them from an outside perspective. So that is a message I want to leave you with today. To avoid falling into this trap, always remember that everyone is just going through their own journey. You cannot force someone to change and do something that you want them to do because you feel like that's the ideal version of humanity that you personally want to see. Understand that there's going to be people in this world right now that throughout this lifetime, they are not going to change. They're going to continue to be the same regardless of how pushy you are trying to change them. People live their lives in whatever means they feel suits better their personal journey in this life. And in many cases, no matter what we do, people are not going to change. So understand that. Be open-minded, continue to learn. Don't ever think that you know everything there is to know about life. Be humble in the sense that you will probably never have all the answers to life. And understand that everyone is going through different experiences, and whenever something could be true to you could be the complete opposite to your neighbor next door. So those are things to remember. Again, apply from this video wherever you believe can be applied into your life. prove some of these things for yourself and see how they work out for you. And at that point, make them part of your life if you like to. So with that being said, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like. If you have any questions, suggestions, comments, ideas, make sure to leave those in the comment section of this video. And if you like this type of content, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. So thanks again, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.